Hello, I'm Caroline Searcy. Welcome to another autumn edition of Bred to Win. Coming up on this week's show, another extended Oz Horse news, looking at the breeding industry successes from Coolmore Classic Day at Rosehill Gardens and the Cunningham family's Ridgmont Farm, a magnificent broodmare property aiming for the heights with elite racetrack success spurring them on. First, let's look back at another big week in our Oz Horse news.
Lady of Camelot Brave, Lady Shenandoah from Lady of Camelot.
The breed-shaping fillies and mares Rosehill Gardens Group 1 feature, the Coolmore Classic, was a third Group 1 for the filly. Trainer Chris Wallace says is doing things even Winks couldn't do at her age. Lady Shenandoah became the first filly since Horse of the Year Typhoon Tracy in 2009 to win the Coolmore as a 3-year-old filly against the older mares. With 5 wins from 7 starts and 2 placings, the daughter of Snitzel now has earnings of over $1.8 million. She's from a Starcraft mare who's a daughter of Triple Stakes winner and dual stakes producer Ain't Seen Nothing. Her 3-quarter brother, Stronger by Not a Single Doubt, won a Ken Russell Memorial and now stands at Aqua Stallions in Queensland. Lady Shenandoah was a 2023 Inglis Easter yearling, sold for $525,000 by Arrowfield Stud to Hermitage Thoroughbreds. Her sire, a 4-time champion Australian stallion, has 45 yearlings catalogued for Inglis Easter, and Arrowfield will sell a half-brother to this filly by Morris.
Oh, no bad luck today. Off to the slipper now for Skyhook.
The final Colts Golden Slipper lead up the Pago Stakes saw Skyhook produce one of the most dominant 2-year-old performances of the season. By Yulong's champion sire Written Tycoon, the Gerald Ryan and Sterling Alexio trained colt was a $575,000 Magic's yearling sold by Arrowfield Stud to his trainers. He's from the Redute's Choice mare Madame Pauline, a 2-time winning 3-quarter sister to young sire Anders and to Silver Eagle winner Ostraka. Now 22 years old, Written Tycoon covered 63 mares last spring at Yulong in Victoria, so his 10 Easter lots will be in high demand.
It's Dreamside and Memo.
And it was a granddaughter of Written Tycoon in Memo who was successful in the filly slipper lead up the Magic Night Stakes, although trainer Peter Snowden says her next aim is the Percy Sykes Stakes. The filly by Golden Slipper winner Capitalist is from Fastnet Rockmare Notation. She was a $350,000 Magic Millions yearling sold by Newgate Farm to trainer Peter Snowden. Snitzel was again to the fore as sire of Far Lap Stakes winner Lazura, a $500,000 Magic Millions sale for Arrowfield Stud to Ricky Serace's B2B Thoroughbreds. A former winner of the Woodland Stakes at Scone that's also been won by fillies who achieved great further success, such as In Secret and Libertini. The 3-year-old is from a mare by the son of Sunday Silence Heart's Cry, sire of Cox Plate winner Lee Gracier and Caulfield Cup winner Admire Rakti. The much-travelled son of Written Tycoon, Winning Rupert, had a great result for Western Australia's Geisel Park, siring Group 2 Far Lap Stakes winner Derby Racing's Iona Merck. Bred by Scott Darby, this was the 5-year-old's 3rd stakes success. He's from the Snitzel mare Mercedes. His sire Winning Rupert was labelled the fastest horse he'd trained by Iona Merck's trainer Bjorn Baker, and Winning Rupert stood last season at Eddie Riggs Geisel Park at a fee of only $8,800.
Lindemann from Arapaho and Vauban starting to wind up out wide.
The 2,000 metre Sky High Stakes was an impressive performance by the Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott trained import Vauban. A striking gelding by Galileo's son Galloway, the former Melbourne Cup favourite and former hurdler, is now a top fancy for the Tancred Stakes for the Australian Bloodstock team.
Eagle Nest, time to boogie. Not much between them.
Eagle Nest was another $500,000 yearling tasting group success at Rosehill. The mare by Shalar was bred and sold by Sedgenho Stud and sold last year for $300,000 at the English Chairman's Sale to Newgate Bloodstock. Her win in the Group 3 Maurice McCartan Stakes was the latest stakes success for her incredible stakes-winning Grand Dam Wedgetail Eagle, whose descendants include Queensland Derby winner and Sha-Tin track record holder Eagle Way. Now 27 years of age, Wedgetail Eagle has in recent years been a nanny at her long-time home Sedgenhoe stud.
Pride of Jenny below the 200 metres. 4 lengths in front. Zardozi's finishing hard.
At Caulfield, it was Victorian Owners and Breeders Race Day, and the star of the day was the resuming horse of the year, Pride of Jenny, back to her dominant front-running best in the Group 2 Peter Young Stakes. The daughter of Coolmore's Pride of Dubai has now won over $10 million, having been bred by New Zealand's Trelawney stud, and she's a granddaughter of Queensland Oaks winner Vouvray. Pride of Jenny was a $100,000 English Classic yearling in 2019, sold by Sedgenhoe stud to Cape Shank stud.
Magor and Befuddle, what a battle it's been.
The $1 Million Vobis Showdown was a great result again for Adam Sangster's Swettenham stud, as Magor took victory for Emily and David Brown. A $14,000 yearling, he's a son of Swettenham's young sire I Am Immortal, himself by 3-time champion Australian stallion I Am Invincible. The winner of Bennegill in the Vobis Platinum Guineas was a touching tribute to her late co-trainer Mike Moroney. The filly by Manhattan Rain, now also based at Geisel Park in Western Australia, was bred by former Bluegum Farm owners Philip and Paddy Campbell and is granddaughter of their St Ledger winner Inkster.
King's Court exceed the boom on the outside, is closing down the margin.
And at Ascot in Perth, it was a second winner in a week for a horse we've profiled on Bred to Win thanks to Kingstar Farm. In the brother to Golden Slipper winner She Will Reign, Time to Reign. King's Court's success followed on from his sire's first 2-year-old winner, Timeless Grace, at Wagga Wagga on Thursday. Time to Reign, a powerfully built son of Schnitzel's Time for War, won the Silver Slipper and covered 72 mares at Kingstar Farm last spring. A great value option for breed to race mare owners. Coming up after the break on Bred to Win, we visit Mitch Cunningham and the team at Ridgemont Farm and hear about their bold plans for the future. While many people see the successes of the big stallion farms, often people don't understand the huge investment of the broodmare operations, buying elite race fillies and proven broodmares to create dynasties of their own. One exciting broodmare farm in the Hunter Valley of New South Wales is Ridgemont Farm, and they have high hopes for success in the sales ring and on the racetrack.
Made, I feel, the right steps forward over the last few years to take this farm to where we want to take it to, and that is a pretty ambitious plan to be one of the best farms in the country.
Mitch, of course, Ridgemont now, you've been operating for some time yourself. Looking at the overall aim that you have, you're obviously wanting to play at the top end, and you've engaged all the right people to assist, haven't you?
We want to build a reputation in the industry as a farm that is breeding really tough, sound, athletic individuals that, you know, trainers want to buy off. The finish line will be our best measuring stick, really, and so we're going to have to get those runs on the board, but we can stack the odds in our favour by having really good people at the farm, and that was sort of my main, I guess, mandate when I started this business, was to attract really good staff. So we've got experts from around the world, namely Chris Phillips, who has helped me so much along the way to build this farm, and will continue to help me take it to where I want to take it. But it's not just Chris, it's all our support staff. We've got, you know, French and Irish and Australians and Kiwis, all with varying levels of expertise and experience, but, you know, when amalgamated, are a really strong bunch of staff, and we support them with quality infrastructure and facilities, and we're always looking to continue their education. There's so much training that goes on here, and there's nil jeopardy, nothing's too silly. We all work together to build our procedures and processes collaboratively, but it's built upon different layers of experience from all around the world.
Do you think that's something that's evolving more as more younger people come through, like some of the older ways things are done? I guess people are changing. We're seeing a lot more farm staff going and doing courses on leadership, on this or whatever it is. Do you think there's a bit of a changing of the guard in the way a lot of the farms are managed, really looking after the staff as much as looking after the horses?
Yeah, well, I think the old way of leading autocratically is in the rearview mirror, or needs to be if there's going to be any progress in the industry. Real progress comes from junior staff who are at the coalface of the farm every day, who feel confident enough to bring up areas where they think management could improve, or confident enough to ask a question about why we do things. That's where a lot of the good learnings come from. Rather than being stuck in the old ways, because that's what we learnt, from our forebearers. It's a far better way for people to point out things that maybe are getting missed, that are just inherited ways of doing things. So I think a learning culture is a progressive culture, and that's what we're trying to achieve here. Impetus to do more or to work overtime, that really comes from within, and the people who see that for what it is rather than just an inconvenience are the people who are going to go somewhere in life, and they're probably going to be the people who move the needle in the industry in the future.
It's a very exciting time for Ridgemont. We've just developed a new foaling unit. All of our new arrivals, the departure yards have just been rebuilt. Some of our spelling yards have been rebuilt. So it really is a progressive time, which makes it very exciting. My day-to-day really is doing vet work in the morning and overseeing the running of the farm throughout the rest of the day. It's a pretty full-on job, but it's very enjoyable, great team, and certainly really enjoying working with Mitch and the family.
How do you find the difference between this sort of stud operation and some of the farms in New Zealand?
It's a very similar flavour. I mean, I've always been fortunate enough to work for a family. In Newmarket, it was obviously Ridgemont as a bigger family, and then Mark at Waikato was certainly that family feel, and that very much has carried on to Ridgemont. I get the same feel, with regard to a family atmosphere, a family venture with regard to their business. And that makes it just very much enjoyable to be able to work for another family. So it actually is it's not too dissimilar from working in New Zealand.
Everything's about trying to get the mares to the best stallions. How involved are you in that? Because if you're not at the top end these days, it's very hard, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. Look, we've got this mantra that every horse at Ridgemont should have the opportunity to win a Group 1. We truly believe that is an opportunity that we afford our stock here. And as a consequence, we've looked at every aspect of our farm, from nutrition, pasture, mating, rearing, handling, yearling prep, really trying to, all those little 10%ers to try and make it that our horses have the best opportunity to become the elite level race horses that we hope they will go on to be. Again, as I said, it's very exciting. We have elite level stallion selection here, certainly in New South Wales, and we take advantage of that, and I'm very grateful that we have the opportunity to do that.
And from a veterinary point of view or stud management point of view, the fact of the staff and how they've been trained has such an influence on the animal, doesn't it?
100%. Look, we want to produce happy, healthy, good-natured horses. I think they're the ones that go into the stables, they're the most loved, they get the best opportunities, and hopefully then really see their career come to fruition. So everything we do here at Ridgemont is really trying to do the best thing we can for the horses, and I think that's showing in the product that we're presenting at the sales, and I'm sure as you've gone around the farm, there's not a horse that doesn't wander up to you for a pat and a scratch, and that's really the ethos that we're trying to encourage here at Ridgemont.
The inside, Stefi, Magnetica, Bell and Patina, they're the two, they hit the line, and Stefi's won the Stradbroke.
Anyone that knows the Cunninghams knows that they're great bunch of people. Every one of them that's either directly involved or indirectly involved within this business. To be able to work with them, it's just been incredible, and I think lots of the industry feel that too. They're always up for a very good time. I think anyone that comes to the farm always has shown a good time, and I think we need people like that in the industry just to carry on this great industry that we have, this electric industry that we have, and they're certainly great members of that now.
And it's great if someone was to have a broodmare here right from the outset. these horses are getting the very best and the very latest in not only technology, but the way the fencing's done, as you said, pasture and everything.
Yeah, we've been really fortunate. We have just developed a new foaling unit. We spent a lot of time canvassing. Obviously, I had my own experiences from around the world, but we canvassed a lot of other people's opinions to produce the best world-class foaling unit we could. I think the product is absolutely outstanding. It's one of the safest foaling units that I've worked at. It really is built to nurture those animals in their very earliest stages and deliver these future champions in a safe environment. It's a beautiful foaling unit, and we're really happy to show it off whenever we get the opportunity. We have plenty of space that we can rotate our pasture for our pregnant mares within our foaling unit, which allows us to rest paddocks throughout the foaling unit, which I think is a really advantageous thing throughout the middle of a busy season. We also have a numerous amount of nurseries and kindergartens, which means that at any stage we can rest 2 or 3 of those kindergartens, let the grass recover, low stocking densities, low disease status, gives our foals obviously the best opportunity of not picking any bugs up and hopefully, you know, staying, like I said, safe and healthy.
I was always of the opinion that I needed to surround myself with people who were a lot smarter than me, but were also at a similar phase in their career as I was, in that, you know, there's a shared ambition for success, which sometimes it's hard to find when you've already experienced that success or you've got all the runs on the board. So, you know, between Chris, Jim and myself, this is sort of the first time we're all in these exact roles that we are, and Chris and Jim are both extremely experienced people in this industry, certainly in their fields. But we're all learning as we go together as well, and that's a lot of fun, and we lean on each other a lot, and we challenge each other a lot. But it's a perfect, I guess, symphony with what we've got between the three of us.
Yeah, I guess I was very fortunate. The Flying Start was probably the first sort of leap for me to take a more meaningful and bigger role in the industry, and Björn was the first person to give me a job outside of that. I had 4 years back in Europe working for Godolphin and in a senior role with them, and that was a broad role. It sort of encompassed everything from shuttle stallions to broodmare populations around the world to racehorses in each country, so it was a fantastic experience. And when I moved back to Australia and set up on my own as an agent, fortunately Björn sort of kicked off my career, and not long after that I met the Cunningham family. My role sort of expanded here. I'm down here at the farm roughly every 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the time of the year, but it sort of encompasses everything from a bloodstock advisory role. So yesterday we looked at all the weanlings, and I'll kind of provide progress updates to all the owners of those horses, not just the farm-owned horses, but client-owned horses as well. And I guess I'm just a bit of a sounding board for everyone if they want some advice or some opinion on their horses, how they're developing, how they're growing, sales placements, mating advice, a bit of everything really. So I guess it's just part of Ridgemont's service, having me here as a bloodstock expert to help point people in the right direction.
Stefi Magnetica, obviously a huge success story for, you know, Gary, Laurelie, the entire Cunningham family. But it is important, isn't it, for, you know, most people that get involved and have the passion don't necessarily have the years or decades of experience. So it is vital to have someone such as yourself, isn't it?
The yearling buying program was probably the first thing I was really heavily involved in, and fortunately Stefi Magnetica came along very early in that piece, and a bit of a dream come true really, for it to be a sort of marrying up of Björn and some of Björn's clients and the Cunningham family, who are the majority shareholder, and she's a great example of everything going right. I guess that ownership group are keen to stay together and breed from her at the end of her racing days, and she's going to be a valuable broodmare for the farm.
She spells here as well, so everyone can really keep an eye on these investments, as they are when you're talking about a Group 1 winning mare such as Stefi Magnetica. What was it you liked about her? What was it in particular?
She's a very well-bred filly. Obviously, she was out of a Group 1 winner, and obviously Midsummer Music won the Stradbroke herself, so it was quite poetic when Stefi was able to do the double. All Too Hard's, I think, a very good stallion, somewhat underrated by the market. He's a proven horse. She came from a very good farm in Crestfield. She was a nice type. She wasn't a big filly, but I thought what was there was very nice. She's got a lovely deep girth on her, and she's very well balanced. Thankfully, we've sort of getting to the really exciting part of her career now.
But it's all Storm Boy, and Storm Boy is too good for them in the 2-year-old.
Storm Boy, of course, another one racing in the Ridgemont colours, but obviously he was bought by Gay and Adrian. But obviously there was something there too. The Cunninghams liked him, but you still have to give the tick of approval.
Yeah, Storm Boy's an interesting one. Mitch, to be honest, was very keen on Justify and watching his progress as he started to do quite well. And we were in Europe when City of Troy started winning, and fortunately we had an email from Gay and Adrian about Storm Boy that she'd bought with Bruce Slade, of course, and he was a horse that I gave a good mark to as a yearling, and Mitch was very keen to take up the option to buy whatever was left in him at the time, and fortunately we had a sort of meaningful share of the horse. He raced in the Cunningham colours and was the first really big winner for the Cunningham family, and winning the Magic Millions at the Gold Coast where they're based and where they first started their entry into thoroughbred racing and breeding was yeah, I guess a dream come true for them. It was an amazing day, and it's been an incredible ride with him.
It takes a big budget, doesn't it, to play at the commercial? I mean, Mitch is saying, you know, obviously that's what Ridgemont wants to do. Play at that top end, the high-end commercial, you know, part of the breeding industry where you are selling, you're buying, you're breeding the best. And there's a lot of pressure, though, that goes with that, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. There's definitely pressure. There's a lot of money involved, as you say. But I think it's certainly the part of the market that we've set out to play in, and that's because it's probably been, you know, more immune to major corrections in the market over years. We've got a very vibrant industry, a very healthy racing product. The bloodstock market's very strong here, and I think having scale and being able to operate at that sort of middle to higher end of the market is has been a very purposeful thing that we've set out to do. And not every horse is going to go to Easter, and not every horse is going to go to Magic Millions and make huge money, but we're sort of setting out to try and breed to sell into those markets, and I'm sure it'll hold the farm in good stead in the long run. Mitch's vision is to have Ridgemont be the premier broodmare farm in the country, and that's going to be a combination of Ridgemont-owned mares, client mares. We're actively recruiting mare owners to become clients of Ridgemont, and we're also sort of been very proactive in putting together our own partnerships to try and home grow our own broodmares through a fillies partnership that we put together this year, and also sort of partnerships to buy and acquire mares together as well. So, you know, the size of the property, it's sort of a bit over 500 acres, can certainly cater for over 100 mares very comfortably, and we're sort of in the next 5 years certainly looking to build those numbers up, both of Ridgemont owned and client owned stock.
So Jim and I went to school together just up the road. We finished the same year, and very early on in the business I brought Jim on in a consultative manner, and it was just to buy yearlings and a few broodmares, and that relationship very quickly grew into what it is today, and that is you know, a really good synergy. We understand each other really well, we challenge each other, and we work really hard. We've had, you know, some early success, which has sort of given us a bit of tailwind, which is great. But as far as Ridgemont goes, Jim's moved into a director of bloodstock role with us, and so he has a lot to do with a lot of our clients and the communication around, you know, their stock on the farm and advice that comes with you know, being a client at Ridgemont. Look, at the moment we've got 60 mares on the farm. That number will continue to grow organically over the next few years, and you know, predominantly the mares on the farm at the moment are our own, and we've got some really good clients, and we're always looking for more good clients to come with us on our journey. We're just going to continue doing what we're doing and trying to be the best we can, breeding really good horses and becoming a world-leading broodmare farm.
Great people there behind Ridgemont Farm, and undoubtedly we'll be seeing some great success coming from their broodmare band. Coming up after the break, the Cambridge Stud Performance of the Week.
Tech
through on the inside from Herbert. Out wide is Wild Knight. Oh, have a look at Whitetack go.
The Cambridge Stud Performance of the Week this week focuses on one of the New Zealand breeding industry's great success stories, Poisier, whose son Whitetack took out the Group 2 Japan Trophy in New Zealand on Saturday. The winner of last year's Group 1 Railway Stakes, Whitetack is a real ritual stud product from a mare by Melbourne Cup winner Shocking. He too shows great versatility, which is the hallmark of his champion sire Poisier, winning at Group 1 level over 1,200 metres and with strong group performances over staying trips. Poisier, a son of Choisir and in Costa de Lago's top producing mare Prophet Jewel, has consistently sired Kiwi stars who also succeed at the highest level in Australia, such as Vinery winner Prowess and Australian Guineas winner Legato. Poisier stood at Ritual Stud in New Zealand this season for a private fee. That is Bred to Win for this week. Don't miss next week at the slightly later time of 8:30 p.m. Eastern as we bring you the first of our Inglis Easter yearling sale previews, highlighting the best stallions, the offspring of your favourite race mares and outstanding young horses parading for the first time on TV ahead of the sale at Riverside in Sydney on April 6 and 7. I'm Caroline Searcy. I look forward to seeing you then.